Listen, modern cars are all right. They're quicker, safer, and more economical, but they lack soul. Driving one is like watching paint dry. Vintage cars? Now those are proper machines. They're a window into a time when cars weren't just appliances. Remember the rumble of a straight-six engine, the click-clack of a manual gearbox, the scent of leather and gasoline? These cars ooze character, telling stories of bygone eras. They turn heads, spark conversations, and make you feel like $1,000,000. Owning a vintage car isn't just about transportation, it's about preserving history, embracing craftsmanship, and experiencing the thrill of driving something truly special. It's about the journey, not just the destination. And sure, they might need a bit more TLC than your average Toyota Corolla, but that's part of the charm, isn't it? Because when you bring a vintage car back to life, you're not just fixing a machine, you're resurrecting a legend. Now, let's be honest, vintage cars can be a bit temperamental. It's like dating a supermodel. Stunning to look at, but high maintenance. Rust, the automotive equivalent of the common cold, is a constant threat, especially in those nooks and crannies where moisture loves to party. Then there's the electrics, often held together by wishes and hopes. Expect flickering headlights and gauges that dance the Macarena. Carburetors, those enigmatic fuel-air mixers, can be a right pain. And don't even get me started on the brakes. But fear not, intrepid petrolhead, most issues are more bark than bite. A bit of patience, some basic tools, and a willingness to get your hands dirty are all you need. Remember, a vintage car isn't broken, it's just character building. Right, let's talk simple repairs. First up, the humble spark plug. These little fellas ignite the fuel in your engine. A bit like the drummer in a rock band. Small but essential. If your engine's misfiring or down on power, new spark plugs might just be the ticket. Next, the air filter. Think of it as the car's lungs. A clogged filter chokes the engine, so keep it clean for optimal performance. Now for the oil change, the lifeblood of your engine. Old sludgy oil is bad news. Learn to do it yourself. It's therapeutic, trust me. Lastly, let's tackle those dodgy electrics. A multimeter, a magical device that reads electrical currents, is your friend here. Learn to use it and you'll be tracing faults like a pro. Remember, even small victories like fixing a dodgy fuse are cause for celebration. Section 4, Tools of the Trade Arming Your Vintage Workshop. Every self-respecting vintage car enthusiast needs a well-stocked tool chest. Don't worry, we're not talking about building a spaceship here, just the essentials. First up, a decent socket set. Think of it as the Swiss Army knife of the mechanical world. Then a set of wrenches for all those awkwardly placed bolts. A good quality jack and axle stands are non-negotiable. Safety first, people. Don't be tempted to work under a car supported by bricks and optimism. Next, a multimeter, your weapon against electrical gremlins. And of course, no workshop is complete without a hefty hammer. Remember, quality tools are an investment, not an expense. And there's a certain satisfaction in wielding a beautifully crafted wrench. It's primal. Section 5, Zen and the Art of Engine Rebuilding. The joy of vintage repairs. Now, I know what you're thinking. Working on a vintage car sounds like a right pain in the backside, and yes, sometimes it is. But there's also a certain magic to it, the feeling of accomplishment when you finally diagnose that pesky electrical gremlin is unmatched. It's about the challenge, the puzzle of figuring out how things work. It's about breathing life back into a machine that's seen more miles than a Boeing 747. And let's not forget the sense of camaraderie among vintage car enthusiasts. We're a different breed, us gearheads. We speak a language of carburetors and camshafts. We celebrate victories with a cold beer and a pat on the back. There's a shared passion, a love for these rolling pieces of history that transcends mere ownership. Section 6. Start your engines, a call to vintage adventure, so you've got the itch. The urge to experience the thrill of vintage motoring. My advice, just do it. Find yourself a classic that speaks to your soul. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Embrace the challenges, the triumphs, and the occasional oily rag. Remember, owning a vintage car is a journey. It's about the open road, the wind in your hair, or what's left of it, and the satisfaction of knowing that you're keeping a piece of history alive. It's about the stories you'll collect and the memories you'll make. So, what are you waiting for? Get out there, find your dream machine, and start your own vintage adventure. And who knows, maybe I'll see you out there on the open road, giving it the beans in your newly restored classic. Just don't try to overtake me, all right?